according to World Economic Forum report, it shows what kind of jobs are emerging or declining. If you look at the top 10 declining jobs below in this page, see the number 2 and 3 and 7, bookkeeping and payroll checkers and administrative jobs will be replaced by automation, like computerization. So basically, repetitive jobs will be replaced, definitely. And if you look at the emerging, top 10 emerging jobs, then it's data analysts, AI, big data specialists, and fortunately, there's organizational development specialists too. So most of jobs are related to technology, right? Such as those 1 to 6 major things there, right? So that's our emerging in coming years. And in addition, like another research paper from Oxford, the future of employment, showed this figure. So if you look at the right side of the graph, red, orange, and pink ones are more likely to be replaced by computerization. So that's the probability of computerization. If you look at the right side, orange one is like administrative work again, and sales related is a red color, and pink ones are service. If you look at the other side, blue, green ones are less likely to be replaced by computerization. So blue ones, like some part of business, also science, engineering, and education, these are the parts of that less likely to be replaced by computerization. Since this class is HR class, so if you look at HR job closely in this report, HR assistants have high possibility to be replaced. Why? So the paper actually said that repetitive work without technology is less likely to survive in future works. On the other hand, tasks requiring technology, creative work, and social intelligence will not be replaced. So these are HR managers and training specialists. But you know what? Unfortunately, so when you get your first job after graduation, every company would expect you to be working as HR assistant instead of HR managers or like a training specialist or something. So even if you get a job as HR related work, you may find it difficult to make yourself different from others, right? Today, I'm here to suggest, this is my way that I found myself as a people analyst, people analytics. So LinkedIn actually asked HR professionals about what HR trends would be the most important to the future of recruiting or HR. And you see the second largest people chose people analytics here. And I also searched people analytics in Google Trends and also searched other terms being used in HR trends. So see the workforce analytics and talent analytics and HR analysis. So if you look at the graph on the left, since 2012, the people analytics, which is blue line, keep increasing, but HR analysis is kind of fluctuating, but not much increasing as people analytics, right? So people analytics actually the highest one at the end. So now then our question is, what is people analytics? Why this topic became popular these days? So if we see the term people analytics, this term is a combined word, people plus analytics. So let's talk about analytics first. Analytics can be explained as an intersection in this diagram. So intersection between math, technology, like behavior science, and your domain knowledge. So here, like when I say domain knowledge is related to your field, like if you're majoring in business and psychology, then that's your domain knowledge. If you're majoring in law and business, then that's your domain knowledge. So here I put HRM, but it can be replaced by your major like psychology or law or whatever. So then you may have some question like, do we really need all of them in analytics? I would say feel for your question because you may have never difficulty in analyzing data, such as in your school assignment, right? If you just using Excel, should be enough, right? So I put a question here, like, is Excel enough? It should be enough, right? Then my answer would be yes and no. My answer is yes, because your analysis should be enough with Excel when you want to answer questions like what happened in the past, which is called descriptive analytics. So if you just want to see kind of average or mean of some data, like how many people you actually hired this year, then you can use Excel, right? It's very easy. And how many like high performers in your company or in your organization, that's easy. Like you can use descriptive analytics. However, if you want to go further step, like if you want to do high level analysis beyond descriptive analytics, then you may want to use statistics, math, or computational method. Once you have these kind of knowledge, then you will be able to answer questions like, why did it happen? Why something happened? And what something will happen? And how can we make this happen? So these are the areas that analytics can jump into this area. In other words, like depending on what questions you want to answer in your field, methods on the right side, this in this slide, it matters. The method should be different depending on your question. So if you want to focus on past data, then as I said, that it's descriptive analytics, and also it could be diagnostic analytics in the bottom. So you can use regression or classification, causal inference. Those are things that you may be learned from business mathematics class or other statistics course too in undergraduate level, right? And also you can visualize it on dashboard. But on the other hand, if you want to focus on what will happen in the coming future, you want to use machine learning or neural networks, word embeddings, or natural language processing, or that kind of complex models. So in order to do that, you need mathematics or statistics to understand how they work. So for example, like if I compare two different focuses, like two different methods, like descriptive analytics shows kind of superficial figures, such as the number of total employees or how many company hire this year or the number of people who left the company. But predictive analytics are more focusing on behavior patterns for high performers, or why core people leave the company, or the relationship between employee satisfaction and performance. These are the questions that can be answered by predictive analytics. I will discuss more about this later, like real cases. Before then, I would like to show various analytics applications in the business field. Actually, analytics is very much involved in business field. So in fact, the first actual introduction of analytics was in marketing field and customer satisfaction, called CS field too. So one of the famous anecdotes is from Target. Anybody knows Target? So Target is like, you can think about it as eMart or something. So one day, a father actually noticed that his daughter received the email, like a promotion email from Target. The email included like some promotion about pregnancy items, such as diapers or baby foods or something. Then the father was very furious because his daughter actually was teenagers and high school students, right? So he was very furious about the team, like marketing team in Target. So he complained furiously to the marketing team. And actually, the manager of marketing team didn't know what's going on in the algorithm or the process of marketing. So the manager apologized that situation to the father. And then the father came back home, and then he talked with daughter and explained the situation, what happened today. And suddenly he realized that it turned out the daughter actually pregnant, and her due is like next month in August or something. So that was like really powerful anecdote. So Target Analytics, the marketing team, did some analytics, and then they found some signal on his daughter's behavior patterns or something, right? So that was really famous anecdote analytics application in marketing field. Another example is from Uber. So everyone knows Uber, right? I think in Korea, Uber also, I think it used to be implemented, but now I'm not sure if it still works. So Uber basically is a ride sharing platform that matches drivers and customers. The Uber, the main challenge was to save time and cost by optimizing given like resources. So like if you look at this picture, drivers and customers are just randomly appeared in different places, and then they want to optimize how they go to and pick up the customers in the best way. So they use the machine learning algorithms, and Uber has become a leading company because they use the best algorithm in the world. So they kind of became leader in this industry. So that's how we used analytics in customer satisfaction department, I can say. And the last example is from HR. Government actually a few years ago introduced a blind recruitment policy. Have you heard about this term?
We actually learned it during our class. Blind
Really?
recruitment.
Okay, that's good.
Yes.
That's good. That's good. In Capco, we also did apply that blind recruiting because the government actually forced us to do it. This actually has a pros and cons. There's a lot of issues there in company's perspective. But so basically, blind recruiting is the process of removing any or all identification details from your candidate resume and also applications. So the idea was to help HR team or candidates being evaluated only on their skills and experiences instead of factors that can lead to biased decisions such as school level or where you're born or sexual stuff. So it was the first year that the government actually trying to implement that policy. So C-levels, CEOs or CFO or CHO, everyone, board members, they were really curious about what impact would be after implementing the blind recruitment. HR team, including me, designed the kind of model that predicting the impact of the blind recruiting and decide to what extent blind recruiting we should adopt, even if the government forced the companies to do that. That was kind of analytics we used in this term too. So this is a report from Harvard Business Review and talk about what HR jobs would be in the future. So in the graph, workplace environment architect or human network analyst, algorithm bias auditor. So basically, future HR jobs, according to HBR, Harvard Business Review, are not only related to HR itself, right? Only HR itself, but also related to technology. So everything now is kind of combining interdisciplinary approach. So these jobs are focusing on questions for why question and prediction instead of what happened in the past. So now you know what I'm trying to say here. Combining technology, so that solves like new questions, so creative questions that may not be dealt with in the past.